Not a good performance, but a defeat tough one to take.
Very tough, very tough. Performance pretty much where it needed to be again against another top team at this level. 98% performance, I'm afraid. Two poor moments in terms of the two goals. The worst aspect of getting back into the game 30 seconds later, they're ahead again. We are climbing mountains at the moment with no help from anyone else, but we're certainly making life difficult for ourselves as well.
Yeah, should actually ask you about that 89th minute? You see when you're win back following the area, that penalty for you?
It's a penalty, but we spoke probably enough and maybe too much about referees. I can't continue to comment on it. It's a clear penalty. Makes it worse because a few minutes earlier the player should have been sent off because he should have been booked previously. But these are decisions which are constantly going up against us, and it almost felt today like, on the back of what's happened recently, it was a very one-sided officiating affair. So I can't say too much because it seems to be getting the team in trouble.
More injury problems. He looks out at the moment. But, obviously, no one wants to make 4 subs as early as you want to.
No. Connor, a knee complaint. Georgie looks quite serious in terms of the hamstring tear. And then Hawley would be fatigue into a strain. But we are low in terms of bodies at the moment. We knew PK wouldn't last the 90 minutes, so we were forced to change that one. How Jamie Lindsay lasted the 90 minutes, the first game back in a little while, so full credit to him and his professionalism. I thought he was excellent today, really was strong in terms of that midfield. Seems everything's against us, and it is the toll of the schedule. So we'll sit back and enjoy that World Cup for the next 4 out of 5 weeks which are to come. But let's put this schedule together. We can't cope with it, and that is an obvious one. I think that goes across the board in all players in terms of Championship football. Their bodies are unfortunately at a high level of risk at the moment. We could offset it if we had a big enough squad, but we haven't.
Any chance Connor or Grant being available on Tuesday?
It doesn't look like it, judging by those symptoms they came off with. I'd be surprised if either of those are available, and probably put Woody into that category as well. It was fantastic to get through 90 minutes, and he was excellent again, but he's had a bit of tightness in his hamstring. You could probably see that as the game went on. It's a cruel world for us at the moment, but we can't complain about it. We have to take the positives about the performances, but we have to turn them into some sort of reward, and that's the points reward.
Yeah, you talk about positives. I mean, that was some real character in the second half. I mean, some teams at 2-1 down and conceding so quickly after scoring might have folded, but Rotherham came on strong and there was a chance for a point there. Yeah,
character, play, but you have to offset that with the league know-how and the league understanding, and that's what we're crying out for in terms of the moment once we scored. I used the phrase in the previous interview. We got a little bit horny, we got a little bit carried away. We jumped straight towards the ball as opposed to just holding the middle of the pitch, and then all of a sudden, for the first time in that second half period, one of their best players is breaking through at our back line through the middle of the pitch, and it's still a ricochet which could have been dealt with better, but those moments aren't going our way.
Yeah. Have you ever had a battle like this? Like the journey, it's bare bones for children, isn't it?
It is, it's brutal, but there's various factors which are affecting it. We're playing a part in it. It can't just be everyone else against us. We are playing a part in that. The way the squad is made up in terms of the physical profile, but also the schedule we're having to go through as well. It's there for all to see. 2 substitutions in the first half, and 1 substitute coming on the pitch and then coming off 5 or 10 minutes later. I hope we can put out a competitive team for the remaining 2 games before the break.
One good thing, Peter Kyoso by us.
Yeah, really pleased. Really pleased. A little bit raw, a little bit unsure of certain moments of his game, but great to get him on the pitch. I don't think Miller's fans have seen him as yet, am I right in saying?
He's been on twice.
Twice, but not enough. We have to now build his game with Cohen's suspension and Brook playing on the left. We're short of options, and in terms of Chio's coming back from the hamstring as well. It's important these players come back and affect it, but physically he's a player I think I can probably learn to trust at the level. Will have the quality which he needs to get into his end game, but as terms as a trusted one, we've used Wes on the outside of the pitch at times, but Peter can certainly do that job, and then it strengthens Wes his hand to play sort of in that back three.
Yeah, I know you're going to talk about refereeing, I understand that, but have you spoken today? Will you speak to him?
What can I say? What can I say? He's made 2 huge errors again. One, by not booking the player in that first instance and allowing the player to pull Tio back when he's clean through on goal, so and then booking him in that instance. You want to pull him back if he'd been booked previously, and the penalties are the penalty. So I am sounding like a broken record, and I'm getting sick of my own voice, let alone you guys listening to it. But I can't describe those moments any other way. If I'm wrong, then it's up to you guys or someone to tell me. But it's clear for everyone to see, and it wasn't just that. The culmination of decisions which went against us today was incredible.
Yeah. I've got to ask you about this, but I didn't see it. But apparently, the bottle had fallen onto the pitch after the penalty incident. I just wondered if you saw it and what you
I didn't see it. I only saw the ref come across to inform the fourth official of something. That's sad to see. But I think our fans are probably at boiling point. If the players are at boiling point in terms of what they're seeing week in, week out, our fans are saying that's not to justify it. We still have to condone it, but they are clearly at boiling point, and boiling point sometimes leads to people snapping. And so I'm sure someone's made a poor decision.
Okay, that's thank you.
It has been a familiar theme for those of us that watched the championship and got up. It is a familiar theme. So you're now experiencing what we've seen. Not blatant, but little things going against you.
Yeah.
In officiating, where you don't get the decision, it may have gone for the bigger club. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've not only got to get your points, you've got to get additional points as well. And so you're finding out very early, and it's not going to stop. It will continue. This is the experience of the things that we found.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Little things as well.
Yeah, I understand that, but the mistakes that they're making, it could be a Sunday league game of football, it could be a Saturday morning game of football under 11s. These are huge mistakes, and they are clear and obvious errors. People talk about clear and obvious moments in VAR in the Premier League. These are huge mistakes, and the fact that it's a continuation against ourselves is exactly what you're alluding to. And I said about Vincent Kompany's voice on Wednesday being louder than mine. Roy Dean Smith's voice is louder than mine, not affecting the officials, but in terms of what happens afterwards. And I've got to be so careful, because all of a sudden it feels like we're exposing referees for what they are, officiating for what it is, and we're getting no help back.
In the first 10 minutes when Richard Wood and Sargent went down, now you may have got fair in there, because if it had blown out, you'd have to set him off.
Yeah.
So on that occasion, it may have favoured us.
Yeah.
But generally, that being away from home.
Yeah. I agree, and I understand it. It feels like a lot is going against us at the moment, and hence why the fans are, like I said, at boiling point, I'm afraid.
Just ask one question, please, Mark. When does your mind change to transfer window in January? Has it already changed now, or is that put into your perspective?
It's always in the perspective.
So you're always...
Yeah, of course we are. Always in relation to that.
Yeah.
But we've got a game on Tuesday against Sheffield United, and then we've got Luton away the following Saturday. So in terms of the focus right now, it's surviving and competing in the next game. Behind the scenes, we've got a head of recruitment, we've got a recruitment team, we've got an incredible group of staff working long and hard to identify who we can bring in and what we can bring in January. But January still...
I hope you give them the backing. I hope you give them the backing to bolster everything in the transfer window.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, gents. Thank you.
Thank you.